Good communication is the foundation for success in pretty much every part of life. It leads to better relationships, less stress, and a real boost in self-esteem. It's the skill that lets you advocate for yourself and ensures your ideas are not just heard, but actually valued. This isn't some natural talent you either have or you don't. It's a skill you can build. Our first word is assert. To assert something is to state your opinion with firm confidence. When you assert yourself, you're signaling that you stand by what you're saying and deserve to be taken seriously. You've asserted your position. But what happens when someone disagrees? This brings us to our second word, contend. To contend is to make your case with solid reasoning, especially when others disagree. While assert is about stating your position, contend is about engaging with others. You validate their point and lower defenses, then present your argument with, I contend that, I contend. We've asserted our idea and contended with counter-arguments. But what happens when faced with pushback? To maintain is to calmly hold your ground and reaffirm your position after it's been challenged. Using maintain builds credibility, signaling that you aren't easily shaken without a good reason. Imagine you're in a planning meeting. A colleague objects, highlighting a valid point. You assert your idea confidently. You say, I believe we should prioritize developing the mobile app first. Our user data shows that's where most of our audience is. You've stated your position with confidence and backed it up with a fact. A colleague objects. Your colleague remains skeptical, raising concerns about risk. Time to contend the point and validate both sides. You respond, that's a great point, and that revenue is crucial. However, I contend that by improving the mobile experience, we can capture a younger demographic that will become our main source of growth over the next 18 months. Now it's time to maintain your stance and show resilience. Emphasize the importance of adapting for the future. That's too risky. 18 months is too long. Your position is being challenged again. It's time to show some resilience. It's time to maintain. You calmly reply, I appreciate the concern about the risk. Still, I maintain that this is an essential move for our long-term growth. The web revenue is stable, but every market trend points to a mobile-first future, and we need to be ready for it. Which of these three words, assert, contend, or maintain, do you feel you need to use more often in your life? Mastering your ability to articulate your thoughts is one of the best investments you can make in yourself. It's not about having a huge vocabulary. It's about using simple, powerful words with intention. Assert your beliefs with confidence. Contend with opposing views using well-reasoned arguments. Maintain your position with calm resilience when challenged. Start practicing this in low-stakes situations and build your way up. You will be amazed at how fast you start to see a change. You're changing how you speak. You're changing how you are heard.
Welcome back to the podcast, where we dive into how to upgrade your everyday language. Today, we're exploring how to refine your communication by ditching overused phrases like I think and replacing them with powerful, precise words.
I'm all for that. Because too often we let simple words like I think actually undermine the strength of our ideas. Yep.
Exactly. It's like you're stuck on a verbal treadmill, repeating the same phrases until your message loses impact. And instead, we're, looking at 3 key tools that can immediately, amplify your message.
Absolutely. So let's kick off with the first word, assert. It's, how should I put it, the word that gives you that assertive punch to your statement, right?
Yes, exactly. Think about it. When you say, I think we should change this plan, versus I assert that this plan needs to change, there's a huge difference. The latter practically attaches your credibility to the idea. It's like adding a little engine of confidence under your words.
And what's even more interesting is the etymology behind it. I mean, Coming from the Latin asserere, it means to join something to yourself. You're not just offering an opinion, you're, claiming ownership of that idea.
Yep, you're joining the statement to yourself. It transforms the statement so it goes from a shaky suggestion to a declaration that's backed by evidence and conviction, like a modern-day mic drop.
Absolutely. And it's not just about sounding confident. When you assert something, you actually shift your own mindset too. It cuts out those hedging words. I think, I feel, I guess. And instead, makes you look like you truly believe in what you're saying.
Right. Listen to these examples. In a business meeting, instead of saying, I think our marketing spend is too high, you switch it up to, I assert that our marketing budget is inefficiently allocated. It practically leaves no room for
I
doubt.
totally get that. And in performance reviews, it's like, I assert that my contributions increased team productivity by 15%, instead of a vague, I feel like I did well. It not only accentuates clarity, but also makes sure people know you stand by your numbers.
Exactly. But now, here's the catch. You do have to be careful. If you overdo it, if you assert every little thing, it might come off as overly aggressive or arrogant. We need that balance, you know?
Yeah, balance is key. Right. Because you wouldn't want to assert something that's just a matter of personal taste, like saying, I assert that vanilla ice cream is the best. It sounds a bit off, doesn't it?
It really does. Assertions are best reserved for instances where, well, you have the facts and evidence to back up your point. And it's all about knowing when to bring out that heavy-hitting word.
Definitely. Moving on from assert, let's talk about the second word in our arsenal, contend. Now, here we're dealing with situations where you aren't just stating facts but are engaged in a, difference of opinions or debate.
Yes, exactly. When you're in a debate saying, I think strategy A is better, sounds too meek, almost like you're open to being swayed by anyone else's opinion. You need to, contend to effectively argue your point with reason and readiness to defend your rationale.
That's a solid move. So, instead of hedging your point, you go with, I contend that strategy A is superior because... That way, you're not just voicing an opinion, you're making a reasoned argument.
Exactly. It tells your audience, I'm not just here to throw out ideas. I'm here to defend and, support them with logic. And it carries the right tone without crossing over into standing like a bulldozer over a conversation.
Right. However, I have a small, critique here. While contend is great for debates, sometimes it might sound a bit combative, especially in a more collaborative environment. How do you usually balance that forcefulness with maintaining a respectful dialogue?
Good point. It's like walking a tightrope. You need to tailor your language to the context. While contend works well when you're in a structured debate or when the issue is clearly one with evidence on one side, in a collaborative group discussion, you might, soften it slightly or pair it with open-ended language.
I see that. Exactly, it's all about context. Now, the content also hinted at a third word, though we haven't dived deep into it yet. I'm curious, what do you think the third word might cover?
Yeah, the third word is intended to round out the trio, providing yet another tool to refine your message. While assert empowers you to state facts and contend equips you to engage in debate, this third word is about, well, further articulating your conviction in more nuanced scenarios.
That makes sense. It's almost like having, a Swiss Army knife of expression. Each word is designed for different scenarios. One for confident declaration, another for debate, and the third for, perhaps, bridging between the two.
Exactly. We can think of assert as tightening your language when you have the evidence, contend for when you need to debate, and the third word, which we're still teasing out, can likely serve as a tool for when you need to make a transition or add nuance to your arguments. Kind of like when you want to signal that you're not just rigidly sticking to one viewpoint, but are open to robust dialogue while still holding your ground.
Yeah, that's a neat way to put it. I love that analogy. It's like you're saying, I'm a guy who stands firm but also listens. That kind of balanced approach is, rare, yet incredibly effective.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, the big takeaway here is that words like assert and contend aren't just fancier vocabulary. They're deliberate choices that can transform how your ideas are perceived. They help you sound more decisive and ensure that your brilliance doesn't get lost in mediocre phrasing.
Spot on. Plus, practicing these words with simple exercises, like repeating sentences or upgrading a weak sentence to a stronger one, really builds that muscle memory. It's like a workout for your language.
Exactly. And it's all about making those words feel natural over time. Eventually, you won't consciously choose them. They'll just enhance your everyday speech, helping you come across as a clear, authoritative leader in your discussions.
Right. And who doesn't want that? Now, let me ask, what do you think is the biggest challenge for someone trying to incorporate these words into their daily communication?
Oh, well, the tricky part is avoiding overuse. If you assert or contend every single time, you risk sounding too rigid or even off-putting. It's like you need to know when to dial it up and when to keep it casual.
I see that balance is crucial. So, in essence, it's about being strategic, using the right word in the right context. And that means being attuned to your audience and the setting.
Exactly. One more thing worth noting is the psychological impact. Switching from I think to I assert or I contend can change not just how others see you, but how you perceive yourself. It's almost like a reset for your mindset.
Yeah, that internal shift is powerful. I love that idea. A sort of self-empowerment through language. It's amazing how a few carefully chosen words really can, reshape your self-confidence and the way you communicate.
Absolutely. And it all ties back to communication being an art. It's like choosing the perfect brushstroke. Instead of blending in with generic language, you're creating a vivid picture that really captures your intended meaning.
Exactly. And, it's not just about speaking in business meetings. This can improve everyday interactions. Emails, casual conversations, even debates with friends.
Yes, indeed. It's really a universal tool, helping anyone from leaders to friends articulate ideas, boundaries, and even personal feelings with clarity and respect.
Right. That's the beauty of it. To wrap up, these three words, assert, contend, and the upcoming third tool, are more than just vocabulary. They're keys to unlocking a more confident, deliberate way of speaking.
Exactly. And by integrating these words into your daily language, you shift not only how you present your ideas, but also how resilient and trusted you appear. It's a small change that can
Absolutely, very
have
true.
a huge impact.
So, for everyone listening, remember, next time you catch yourself on the I think loop, try out I assert or I contend and see how it changes the conversation dynamic.
Right. And practice makes perfect. The more you internalize these tools, the more natural they become. Thanks for joining in on this discussion. It's been a truly empowering conversation for clearer, more confident
Yes, indeed.
communication.
Thanks for the insights. And we'll catch you next time as we continue exploring ways to help you articulate your thoughts better, with a bit more flair and confidence every day.